Let's pause that there and bring in criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett. Sam, thank you, of course, for being on with me today. Listen, this is a prosecutor's dream because he is talking and talking. He doesn't even have to really be prompted very often, saying all kinds of things about what happened. I fully understand the consequences. I didn't know when I would see the kids again, so I just drove with them. I ended up in Concord. I wanted to find a place to eat breakfast. I wanted to visit with my kids, and I even thought to myself, the cops are going to raid the restaurant. All of that's exactly what happened. So are you believing his version of what he says happened?
I guess the thing that strikes me the most is just the matter-of-fact nature that he talks about this situation. It is not a sympathetic tone. He doesn't get emotional. He doesn't appear to have any remorse or concern or empathy for what his kids have gone through. It's a real tough piece of evidence for the defense, no doubt.
And I think what adds to that for me is we know that what we are seeing is what the jury is seeing, meaning not only are they hearing him talk like we are, they are seeing the captions as well, Sam. And if I were the defense, I wouldn't want that up there because the jury is not only hearing his words, which are sometimes difficult to hear, they're seeing it as well. And often they say if you see something and you get to hear it, that you're going to remember it more or better.
Yeah, no question. It's a very painful experience as a defense attorney to sit through this type of evidence because that's why almost every defense attorney will tell you don't talk to the police or only talk to them after you have an attorney. It's just a very difficult piece of evidence for the defense, and it just is really troubling.
And, you know, he claims she was going to kidnap the children. Well, you know, is that potentially self-defense under the law there? Yes, in New Hampshire. However, I think it's an uphill battle. Stand by. You're going to weigh in on that more later in the show. But coming up right now, we'll have a break. Then we'll have more of the Amber Alert murder trial for Dustin Duren in New Hampshire. Plus, our own Matt Johnson joins us live for an update on the case against former Sheriff Mickey Steins. His daughter is now speaking out. Still with us, criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett. Sam, now to me, he's rambling. He says, the defendant, that she's been threatening to take the kids away, the girlfriend, the mother of the two children that he then shot later, and that it was mostly over the phone, but now it was in person. She's very smart. She knows when. And then he never really finishes his thought. He never really confesses or admits to any of that I heard. What are your thoughts?
He doesn't talk about any aggression on her part. The detective does a good job of following up and saying she had access to any weapons or guns. He's just shutting down the different options that might make a self-defense type theory credible, even if you believe he was shooting her to prevent the kidnapping. But there's no other surrounding circumstance. The detective's doing a good job to point to any kind of threat or aggression going on. So he's really shutting it down. The detective's doing a real good job.
Yeah, I think this really hurts the defense. Now, knowing it's a self-defense case and hearing how much he said to the police in that interrogation video, Sam, do you think that he will testify? Typically, the defendant does in a self-defense case.
You know, this case seems like a Hail Mary to get a not guilty, so he may very well testify, just hoping that he can strike a chord with some of the jurors, but it's a tough call. Usually when I put on when evidence comes in of what my client has said to the police, it's a very tough task to then put them on the stand because inevitably they're going to tell a different story on the stand, which gives the prosecutor a field day on cross-examination.
That's right, because they can use that statement that he already gave against him if he changes any of those details. Sam Bassett, thank you, of course, for being on with us and all your expertise today. Everyone stay with us, please. Coming up next, Michael Ayala joining me for more of the Amber Alert murder trial against Dustin Duren. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.